guys, I wanted to give you a quick update on what's going on today. Just a couple small projects this morning. Changed the oil on Emily's car and did some dirt work on an entrance into a road that was holding water and needed to work on. But now I'm heading to Abilene, about an hour trip. I was invited to a meeting this evening. So we're involved with a couple different organizations. One's the Rolling Plains Cotton Growers, and then that's kind of our regional group that kind of gives us updates on what's going on and keeps us in the loop with different policy stuff. And then the National Cotton Council is kind of the national one, and there's a lot more, but those are kind of the two main ones. Well, they're having a meeting tonight to discuss the Farm Bill. So every so often, I think it's supposed to be 5 years, we're supposed to get a new Farm Bill, and that's supposed to come up this year, and they can just start all over. They can just kind of renew. But anyways, there's a meeting tonight, kind of, I guess, I don't really know what to expect, but it's good to be involved, and I'll get to see what maybe things they're talking about, and maybe give some input, what little that I do have. So I'm gonna go tonight to the Farm Bill interest meeting, and then tomorrow we have our big Rolling Plains Cotton Growers annual meeting, and I'm sure there'll be some touch on what we talk about today, and then just a lot of other stuff. Tons of different information. We get some continuing education credits to keep up our private applicator license to spray chemicals and buy chemicals. So that'll be tomorrow as well. So busy couple days here of meetings. I'll try to give you an update when I get back and let you know what I learned, if anything. Well, good morning, or at least it's morning for me, but I didn't get you an update on how the meeting went last night. I was getting kind of late, and so now I'm on the way actually to another meeting back in Abilene. I'm going with Dad, and last night that meeting was specifically meeting with a couple people with National Cotton Council. They are more instrumental in lobbying for farmers. Not, they are specifically for cotton, but they meet up with other groups, sugar, and soybean, and all the different commodities. And so last night was specifically about the Farm Bill. Basically, we've got a Farm Bill that's due to come up this year, and in our political climate, that's an interesting challenge. Both sides are going to want something. There's some different rules that are coming up in the bill process that may make things interesting. One side wants to throw in a bunch of climate type stuff and different kind of conservation things onto the farm side, and the other side is going to want to attack some of the spending that's attached to the Farm Bill. So the major part of the Farm Bill is actually the SNAP food assistance program. Like, it is, I think the Farm Bill is like single digits percentage of that, of the total Farm Bill. The rest is all the SNAP program. And so you're going to see one side that's going to want to cut from there, and you're going to see the other side that's going to want to add in some things for us to do on climate and things like that we do not want to be involved in. But in the way with a split House and Senate, and what we were learning, we can extend this Farm Bill, and that may be the best option. Because if one side starts asking for or demanding a bunch of things, the other side's likely going to be doing the same and or looking for ways to cut. And basically there's not enough money to do what needs to be done in the current Farm Bill. So if we start cutting, then that's going to hurt all farmers. I'm glad to get to learn more about all that, because farming is one thing, but kind of knowing what's going on the government and policy side is interesting, but also I need to know, because that's my future. So that's the quick update on last night. I can get into more of that later, but now I'll try to give you an update on how today goes. Today is going to be fun because, lots of meetings, but then it's also the farm show. So Emily and the boys are going to come, and we're going to check out the farm show, and then after that we're going to our insurance company does a steak dinner for us every year, so we're going to get to eat a nice steak. So I'll give you an update later. I woke up this morning, got a little bit of rain, not much, a tenth or two here and there. I'm driving around checking with my favorite farmhand, and so we're just doing that. And I want to tell you, the first meeting when I went, it was a smaller group. The second meeting was a bunch of producers from all over our area, and so I think they said 31 counties are in our regional Rolling Plains cotton growers group. I think that's right, 31. So a bunch of guys and gals were there for that meeting, and a lot of the same. A lot of talk about Farm Bill. There's some disaster assistance there. We don't know how it's going to come out, and so just talking about that. But one thing about the Farm Bill that was interesting to me is, the Farm Bill assistance is tied to the SNAP food assistance program, so they call it the Farm Bill. There's nothing to do with each other. But we're talking about total budget for the entire United States budget. I think the guy said the farm-related protection that actually helps farmers is 1/5 of 1% of the entire budget for the U.S. And so then we get politicians that are wanting to cut. Well, we want to cut. Let's cut from the Farm Bill. Well, we're talking about 1/5 of 1% of the entire United States budget, and we're going to look to cut stuff there. So that's what they're talking about, how they're fighting to try to keep funding in place and actually increase funding for some things. But anyways, it was good to kind of get the policy side, the farming side of farming, the actual, plowing, planting, spraying, harvesting, that stuff. I'm learning that, and that's, more practical and easy to learn. But the policy side and what's going on in Washington, good luck learning what's going on there. Also, you can't tell from the view outside, but it is a nasty day today. Yesterday it got up to like 88 degrees, and the wind was blowing. Wind's been blowing, and today the wind is just getting after it. The sky just is hazy and dirty looking. So that's what we're dealing with. It's just the spring. We used to live in Lubbock, and this was pretty regular. I was a track coach, and track meets were not as fun in the spring, and so this kind of reminds me of that. Well, this video may be garbage because of the wind, so if it is, I apologize. But one thing I wanted to see was there's this section right here behind me where wheat never came up. You can see we've got wheat right behind me. This is where we were setting the plow and setting the drill, and so if I'm yelling also at the camera, I apologize for that too. But I was curious, why it didn't come up. We might have had cranes. Could have been too hard and didn't get moisture, but that seed can hold on for a long time. Oh man, the dust is getting me. So I don't know. I want to come out here and see if I can see any seed, and I'll try to show you. And you might not be able to hear, but I'll try to show you. It's been planted a long time ago. I don't really see. Sometimes I thought I saw just a little bit of green, and I haven't pre-looked here to tell, but I don't see. Okay, right there. There's a little one right there, and so I don't know. I dug a little bit. I saw right there. I guess that's my still. This has been planted a long time ago. It just, I guess, the ground's been too cool, and I guess I'm seeing more as I look a little closer. I guess the ground's been too cool, and there's plenty of moisture in there now. Maybe this will come up, but it doesn't look great. Right here, when you see that just right over there, it came up early. So I don't know if it has enough time to make anything at this point. And it's near the end of February. I don't know. We'll see. Yesterday it was almost 9 degrees, and in some parts of the country, negative degrees for a high. So kind of crazy right now. So this, with that dust blowing, that is why we prefer to be just straight strip till and not ever plow the ground. But we had to this year. We didn't. I started this, filming some of this in the fall, I believe, and so our wheat crop never made, and so we normally we'd have wheat stubble sitting right here, and that would hold the dirt from blowing. But the deal with plowing and traditional tillage is you plow it, you get a rain on it, and then the wind blows, and that's, especially if it's a hard rain, it slicks that ground off, and then the dirt really blows. If this was like how we would normally have it, and hopefully this next year on our other wheat ground, is there'd be wheat stubble there, and that would hold the soil. It would hold moisture because the organic matter would help us retain some moisture, but we don't have that this year. And if you your dirt was blowing really bad, especially in the sand, they got to plow it every time to try to incorporate that and keep all the sand blowing around. So this is kind of the I don't know what this is going to do. It's not going to be bad. It's just we're going to lose some organic material because we don't have the wheat stubble, and the wind's going to blow a little bit and may blow some dirt. But we're going to strip till this soon, so that'll eliminate some of that. But anyways, just kind of a strange year last year where it just did not rain, and we didn't have hardly any wheat come up or survive. And so just, again, each year's different. You just make the best of each year. All right, so one thing I can do inside is inventory some of the chemical I have, because we will spray eventually when it's not blowing 30 mile an hour straight line winds. So need to check on this is Ally. It's a chemical that's safe to spray over the top of wheat. It's really inexpensive and really good at holding down broadleaf weeds, killing them and keeping them from coming up. So I bought that from last year. I didn't actually use it because it was so dry. We didn't know if that chemical would break down, because you do need it. There's a replant duration on that for cotton. I think it's really 14 months after you spray it until you can safely plant cotton on it. But anyways, so we didn't do that last year because we didn't know if the water would break it down and it might affect our cotton crop. And so I should have enough for the whole field, all the fields this year, because I didn't really use any. I didn't use any of it last year. And then on some of the fallow ground that will be caught next year, we'll spray glyphosate, Roundup on that. So I need to check on the surfactants that I have, which are just additives that help with water quality and help with water droplet size, and check on those things so I can maybe get some stuff ordered and picked up so we can be ready to spray whenever the wind does blow less. You could not, well, you could do anything, I guess, but this would not be a wise time to spray because the wind would blow it all the way. There's not really many sensitive crops. Well, if you're spraying Roundup next to wheat, then that would be sensitive. That would kill the wheat. And so any wind drift is bad. That 30 mile an hour wind drift would be even worse. We're checking these nozzles. I need to count how many nozzles we have when we go to replace these. I think these are 2 years old. So counted 61. We do put a little bit different nozzle here right behind the tires to try to help with some of the dust, because the spray particles can get encapsulated in the dust. So anyways, we might buy enough to get all of them replaced, and then